Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. Today we're talking about the future of Guilty Gear Strive, specifically Guilty Gear Strive Season 2. Now we all know what's coming, Arc System Works has said as much themselves. So now the two main questions are, well, one, when is it gonna be? And two, what's gonna be in it? And that's effectively the purpose of this video, to ask about both questions. First off, the easier one, when is it gonna be? And while they have not yet put out an official date, we can make an educated guess on when that might be. So in case you're unaware, Guilty Gear Strive is actually coming up on its 1-year anniversary. Strive came out in June of last year. I know, it doesn't seem that long ago, right? But it's true. So yeah, we're almost a year old, and I figure Season 2 at the 1-year anniversary, that's as good a time as any. Now, it wouldn't necessarily have to be on the exact 1-year mark. Could be a little bit beforehand to get it prepped up, whatever, but around that timeline makes sense to me. It also mostly lines up with their previous release schedules here. So between Goldlos and Jacko was a month, between Jacko and Happy Chaos was 3 months, between Happy Chaos Biken was 2 months, between Biken and Testament was 2 months. So you average it out, and well, it's 2 months between all the releases. We also have Combo Breaker coming up later in May. Combo Breaker is one of the biggest fighting game tournaments, period, right? So that's as good a point as any to do a big showcase, big announcement of whatever's coming for Guilty Gear Strive Season 2. And sure enough, they could do it on their own time, their own event as well, but usually synergy is a pretty big deal in the FGC, right? You want to put a big announcements through the bigger fighting game tournaments, and the bigger fighting game tournaments are coming back now, so that's just an idea anyways. I do see some people thinking they're only going to do it after EVO, and I really don't think that's going to be the case, because as it stands already right now, it's been 6 months since the last balance patch for Guilty Gear Strive, and if we wait till EVO, after EVO, so that's going to be like mid-August or later, right? It'll be over 10 months at that point, close to a year. And while I do think Strive is a pretty decently balanced game, there's definitely some things that can be changed, for sure. And that is simply too long to wait for any kind of balance patch. To me, EVO is more a showcase of Season 2. Let's see what Season 2 has to offer, rather than we have to wait till EVO's over. To me, EVO is look how cool Season 2 is, and then we release a trailer for the first DLC character of Season 2. That's how that makes sense to me anyways. So personally, I think we're getting Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive either later in May or earlier in June. That's what makes sense to me. It's the modern gaming era. You can't afford to just sit on your hands and wait, right? You can't go months and months and months with no content, no balance changes. Agree or disagree, post in the comments below, but I don't think we're waiting till EVO. So that's our time frame, that's our release talk, right? What can we actually expect out of a Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive? Now, I guess the bare minimum anyone could expect is balance changes, right? Once again, I do think Strive is overall a pretty well-balanced game, but there is definitely characters that are stronger right now, and characters that are weaker right now, right? So I don't necessarily even want to see people nerfed too much, but I definitely do think some of the lesser characters can be brought up. That's the forever battle in fighting games, right? There's always someone on the low end of the totem pole, and they can always be brought up just a little bit. So balance changes, that's the more obvious thing, but the other thing I think that could be a big deal is new mechanics, gameplay changes. Arc System Works has proven many times over now, when it comes to seasonal updates or new titles for a game, they're willing to make major changes. Look at Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? Every season of Dragon Ball FighterZ might as well have been a new game almost. Especially things like Season 3 of DBFZ, where people were effectively calling it Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, because that's how big the changes of the game were. From Exard to Exard Revelator, massive changes. All the versions of Guilty Gear X2, right? From base X2 to Reload to Slash and eventually, AC plus R, all these versions had major changes, and that's going way back in the day. And I feel in their more modern products, the changes are way more pronounced. So now, while nothing I'm about to say is anywhere near a guarantee, some of the changes we can expect. At a base low level, pre-existing characters can get new special moves. Getting new toys to play with is a trademark of newer visions of all fighting games, right? And a lot of characters, you get a new move, it can give them a whole new lease on life. Like say, remember this bit from the original story mode? How Goldlos and the UMA can create a giant shield? And that's never brought up in the moveset at all, even a little bit? That would be something fun to put into the games. UMA barely gets used as it kind of is. Everyone wants to see more of Gold Lewis's alien, and also it could be something you could use to help with his game plan. Like we all know, Gold Lewis struggles pretty badly against Axel and Happy Chaos, right? So all of a sudden you give him your newfound UMA shield and he can use it to move across the map, move across the stage and have a little bit of defense so he just doesn't get blown up for trying to get in. Just an idea, right? But that's the kind of idea what we want. We want new moves to either shore up some characters' weaknesses or help accentuate some of their strengths. Giovanna definitely needs more moves using the dog as well, for example. Another thing that can be added is force break moves. So force break, if you're not familiar with the term, I guess in a way you could call them EX moves. They were added into the later revisions of the X2 games. So your overdrives, your supers, those take 50 tension, half your bar. A force break takes 25% of a bar. And unlike an EX move in some other games, force breaks can either wildly change how the move works to begin with. For Kai, it turns his regular shot into like a lightning sphere, for example. Or it can just basically give you all new moves and tools to play with, like Faust's big overhead here. On top of adding just all new moves, if we add force breaks to the game, it can give existing moves a lot more utility, and more utility means more, complex matchups, more things you can do, and a lot more fun. And I guess one of the biggest things you could add in Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive is instant kills. So competitively, instant kills are usually not really a big deal, but the casual fan base absolutely loves them. To that point, a lot of people wrote off Guilty Gear Strive because there is no instant kills. They are big flashy animations, they take up a lot of the animation budget and time, not necessarily something you really got to focus on when you're trying to just get the game out the door, but the game is out the door now, right? Much like how Mortal Kombat 11 added in friendships about a year after the game was out, well, it's about a year for Guilty Gear Strive, so now is the time, if there ever was one, to add instant kills for all the characters. It'll win a lot of goodwill, a lot of people will be very happy to see him, and it might bring in some people who otherwise wouldn't pick up or play the game. If instant kills are ever gonna be in Guilty Gear Strive, Season 2 is absolutely the place for them to show up. And for now, basically these are some of the things we can expect. We obviously don't know the details. Balance changes are a given at an absolute minimum, right? They will rebalance the game. New mechanics are a hope. Now, what form will those new mechanics take? I don't know, right? Force breaks would be nice. Having instant kills return would be nice. Just as likely, though, is something completely out of left field, something we couldn't even possibly speculate about. Who knows? Maybe something akin to Blitz Shield could return, right? So while I do think something along the lines of what we've gone over in this video will happen, I also fully believe expect the unexpected. So for now, that's some thoughts on where Guilty Gear Strive Season 2 might be going. I don't think it's going to be terribly far away from now, but I guess we'll see. But I do expect very big things from it. I expect pretty wild changes, both on like a character level, balance-wise, and system-wise. Arc System Works has proven time and time again they're willing to make big and crazy changes when they go for their big updates, so I am excited to see what is on the horizon. That all said, well, that's about the end of the video. I would love to hear what you think Season 2 will change in Guilty Gear Strive. Post that in the comments below, and otherwise, well, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Guilty Gear.
Love.